Good morning, it's meteorologist Michael Fecca. Welcome back to the morning news and weather stream show. We are going to kick things off with the weather portion of this show today because we are on alert for the potential of some severe thunderstorms later this morning and through this afternoon. That initial round looks to get going here mainly off to our west by around 11 o'clock and continues to push into southern Indiana and the rest of the tri-state through that noon and lunchtime hour, and it should kick out of here to our north by around 3 p.m. and then it looks like that cold front will move in later on this evening. That threat has a little bit of a lower severe weather potential, but we could still see a couple of showers and storms there lingering between 5 p.m. and 10 p.m. Now, if we do have severe thunderstorms today, we will see that potential for some wind damage, hail, and even the potential for some tornadoes. And I'll get into those threat levels and each individual risk in a moment here, but let's start off with a look at our view across the United States. We've got this stationary boundary that's going to kind of act as a guide for this area of low pressure that's developing over the central plains. And as that pushes in from the west, it's going to kick off those chances for those showers and thunderstorms. Taking a closer look here in the tri-state, not really seeing anything just yet. This was expected. We may have, a passing shower or two, mainly across portions of western Kentucky through this morning. A lot of these showers and storms that developed off to our southwest, they're moving into a less favorable environment, so they're kind of fizzling out, which is good news. So we're mostly dry for right now, but things will start to change. Now, what is different from what I was just showing earlier on Sunrise this morning is the Storm Prediction Center has upgraded the extreme northern portions of the tri-state to a level 3 out of 5. So that is that enhanced risk for severe weather. The rest of the tri-state still in that slight to isolated risk of severe thunderstorms. So that greater risk kind of goes from a line from Fairfield, Princeton, Jasper, and north of there. And that was mainly upgraded due to an increase in that potential for tornadoes, which I'll show you those individual risks in a moment. But let's get through the timing here first. So we may see a passing shower or two here over the next couple of hours, but it's not really until 11 o'clock or just thereafter that we start to see the best chance for those showers and storms to spread in across portions of the tri-state. And I think the best potential, of course, for that severe weather is kind of right along or north of the Ohio River there. A lot of those reds and oranges indicating where those stronger storms will be. And you can see it kind of lines up pretty well with where the Storm Prediction Center has just outlined that new risk. So definitely folks north of I-64, you want to pay very, very close attention to these storms as they move through this afternoon. And that's that initial round. That'll kind of lift off to our north by around 3 o'clock this afternoon. We'll get a little bit of a lull, maybe even a few peaks of sunshine, and then that cold front moves in from the west, and that'll kind of reinvigorate the chance for a few more showers and maybe some more thunderstorms. It doesn't look like this second round has as much juice as that first round does. So I think the greater severe weather potential is going to be later this morning and into the first half of this afternoon, but you can't rule out, a sneaky, isolated severe thunderstorm with that passage of the cold front later on this evening. But regardless, this should all come to an end by around 9-10 o'clock tonight. So nothing's going to be lingering through the overnight hours. This is pretty much like a right in the middle of the day event. So here's a look at each individual risks for you. We aren't concerned about the risk for flooding, but we are concerned about that potential for some damaging wind gusts, hail, and there is that upgraded tornado risk. You'll notice that along the far northern portions of the tri-state there is that yellow 10% chance for a tornado, and you even see those hatched marks there. So that means there is even the potential for an EF2 or greater tornado in those areas, and especially to the north of the tri-state, so areas up through Vincennes as well. So if you have any friends or family up there and they aren't really paying attention to the weather or haven't tuned in to the forecast, make sure you give them this heads up because they need to be watching things very, very carefully as we go through the rest of the day today. Now, we're going to go over some safety and preparedness here. Of course, how to receive warnings. You do not want to rely on storm sirens. They are designed to be heard outdoors and may not be loud enough to be heard inside. Your best bet for receiving warnings directly to you are going to be using the 14 First Alert weather app or a NOAA weather radio. Preferably, you have both, but you want to turn on those alerts on the 14 First Alert app and have that NOAA weather radio with an alarm tone and a battery backup in the event that you are placed under a warning. So again, we want you to be prepared, not scared. And of course, hopefully you've been paying attention to the forecast, using the most up-to-date information leading up to this alert day. But now that we're in the alert day itself, you want to know how to get the latest information and track the storms live. You can do that obviously by downloading the app or paying attention to our alert streaming shows. We do these several times a day. We also upload individual videos about a minute long to our app as well. So you'll have all of that information kind of constantly cycling throughout the day. And hopefully you can use our forecast to further adjust your plans. You know, understanding that this is happening in the middle of the day. A lot of people are displaced from their homes. They're either at work, they're at school, or they're doing something else. So you want to make sure that wherever you are going to be this afternoon, especially during that 11 to 3 o'clock hour, you want to make sure you know where a safe space is. So remind your family of your safety plans, especially if anyone's left home alone today, and ensure that your shelter is clean and accessible. Now, in the event a warning is issued, especially a tornado warning, you want to take action immediately. Go to your safe space, and you want to make sure that that is away from any windows or exterior walls. You want to get low to the ground and cover your head with any sort of cushioning. If you have a bike helmet, that is preferred. And of course, you want to have a sturdy pair of shoes in the event you do sustain some damage. You want to be able to walk out and not further injure yourself with any nails or glass or pieces of wood. So that is kind of the latest and greatest on that severe weather potential. I'm going to take a look at some of your questions. We've got a lot of people just tuning in here saying that they're watching from various locations. Thank you for tuning in and staying up to date. Zach is asking, is large hail and damaging winds the main threat of severe weather today? Actually, all three, damaging winds, hail, and even tornadoes, are all likely threats with the severe thunderstorms. So you definitely want to be prepared for anything headed your way today. All right. Simeon is asking if that enhanced risk could get moved farther to the south. You know, they just issued it, so I don't anticipate that honestly getting moved in time before the event starts. But I don't want you to get too hung up on exactly where the enhanced risk versus the slight risk versus the marginal risk is, because no matter which way you slice it, the ingredients are present for severe weather. So it doesn't matter if you're in the highlighted area for stronger tornadoes, you could easily still get a tornado develop farther south of there. So you want to make sure that you're prepared for anything. So that is kind of the messaging going forward here through this alert day. So remember to stay up to date on the latest forecast. Now I'm just going to kind of go through the rest of the forecast here through the weekend and into the start of the work week. So once we get through today's severe weather event, we will actually be drying out and cooling down rather nicely through the end of the work week and into the weekend. We'll get back up into the 50s though as we get into next week. So a little bit of a cool down back into the 40s and 30s for Saturday and Sunday. But right now we've also been dealing with fog. Now that fog has gradually lifted over the course of this morning, and it will continue to do so. And it's leaving behind partly to mostly cloudy skies. Temperatures are already hanging out in the mid to upper 50s. A few spots already touching 60 degrees, like in Madisonville. But taking a look at where our most dense fog is, you can see a lot of that is still hung up across portions of southern Indiana and southern Illinois, less than a quarter of a mile in some spots in the Evansville area, much better across portions of western Kentucky, now around 7 miles of visibility there in Owensboro. But here's a look at the next 12 hours. Again, our best chance for those showers and storms to move through here is going to be between 11 and 3 p.m. And then we have the lingering shower chances there through around 10 o'clock tonight. But we have that potential for severe storms with any kind of shower or storm that develops here through the rest of the day. So again, remember to have a way to receive warnings and make sure you have a place to go to in the event you are placed under a tornado warning. Now, all of that should wrap up by around 10 o'clock tonight, so we'll be dry through the overnight hours with partly cloudy skies. It'll be breezy. Temperatures drop down into the lower 40s, and winds will be gusting maybe even up to 20 miles per hour. And there's a look at your forecast for Friday. Mostly sunny skies, still a bit breezy with winds out of the west, gusting up to 20. Temperatures top out in the upper 40s to right around 50 degrees. And the weekend forecast, not looking too bad. There is going to be another system that tries to pass to our south, and we're not really expecting a whole lot of precip out of it, but some folks maybe get a stray sprinkle out of that as it passes to our south. But it will be much cooler here through the weekend, so that'll kind of be the trend there through Saturday and Sunday, topping out in the upper 40s on Sunday, and then to the upper 30s there on Sunday. So looking ahead, we continue to warm up there, back up above average. So after this weekend's cool down, we will pop back up into the 50s by the middle of next week. But then another cold front will slide through and bring us the chance for those showers. So there is a look at your 7-day forecast. Let me go ahead and take this full screen for you guys so you can get a better look at it. Remember, today we are on alert for that severe weather. We have the potential for damaging wind gusts, hail, and even a few tornadoes, so make sure that you have a way to receive those warnings and make sure your safe space is ready and prepared in the event that you have to go into it. So now I'm going to toss things over to Casey and Mitch for a look at our top news headlines.
Stay informed on your local news and weather throughout the day by watching the 14 First Alert streaming shows. At 8:30 a.m., get your First Alert forecast to plan the day ahead and catch up on the news that happened overnight with the 14 News Sunrise team. In the afternoon, get the latest headlines, forecasts, and a preview of the stories we're working on with the 14 First Alert streaming show at 2:30. And get an in-depth look at the 14 First Alert forecast so you're ready for the next big thing with the 14 First Alert weather show at 9 p.m. Watch the 14 First Alert streaming show that fits your schedule and works best for you. Streaming on your phone by downloading the 14 News app and the 14 First Alert weather app. On your smart TV by using the 14 News streaming app. And stream anytime on Facebook, YouTube, or on 14news.com. Stay connected and stay informed by watching the 14 First Alert streaming shows on your favorite streaming devices.
Well, good morning, and thanks for joining us here for the news portion of your stream show. Once again, it's Thursday, February 19th. I'm Mitch Carter.
That's right. I'm Casey Mason. We're going to recap a couple of your top headlines from this morning's news, starting with an Owensboro police chase. We know that an 18-year-old is now facing serious charges after he was accused of leading police on a high-speed chase. So it all started when police were called to reports of people that were breaking into cars in the Borman Drive area. We've got a map of that there on your screen. Police say an officer found two suspects standing in a driveway, one that was armed with a rifle, and then when confronted, officers say that a third suspect then drove off in a car. Now, at that same time there, police say that the first two suspects, well, they ran off on foot and threw a rifle over a fence.
Officers say 18-year-old Avery Buckner, pictured there, was the one who sped off in the car. Police say the chase ended after he crashed into a ditch near Apollo High School. Now, he's now facing multiple charges, including reckless driving. Meanwhile, officers say the two other suspects are still on the run.
All right, switching gears a bit here to a story we wanted to highlight here as the country approaches its 250th birthday this year. We know that a local spot has actually been recognized by the Smithsonian Magazine.
That's right.
This is pretty cool news to share here locally. Well, the group named Owensboro's Bluegrass Music Hall of Fame and Museum as one of their top 250 places to celebrate America. Officials say the museum was selected for its role in preserving and celebrating the legacy of bluegrass music. Meanwhile, Mammoth Cave and Buffalo Trace Distillery, well, they also made the list for the Commonwealth.
And meanwhile, the West Side Nut Club, they've handed out nearly $500,000 to the community this year. During their most recent meeting, the group approved donations to at least 28 schools and other organizations right here in the Evansville area. Nut Clubbers say it's all made possible because of the support for the Fall Festival and, of course, that iconic huge half pot. And they say more giving is still to come. Now, if you want your organization to be considered for some of the giving, there is a link to submit a request online at 14news.com. And, of course, we've also got a full breakdown of where those funds are going.
All right, of course, the main headline today,
Yes.
Mitch, we know, is is going to be this alert day that we're on. Michael Fecca really walked everyone through the timeline, what you need to do to prepare for this. But just as always here, we love to give a reminder here, especially on an alert day like today, to stay up to date with today's severe weather. What you guys can do here is you can download that free 14 First Alert weather app. You're seeing that circle there on your screen right now. That's that QR code. And what you can typically do is hold your phone over those QR codes and it'll pull up that link for you. But if you are typically watching today's stream like this from your phone, another way to access that there is you can just search for 14 First Alert in your app store. Another tidbit here, take a screenshot right now and use someone else's phone as a way to kind of download that information there.
Yeah,
So
and our meteorologists here, including Michael, Arden, Jeff, Byron, do a great job keeping that updated there. They've got weather video on there for you, up-to-date forecast. They'll have some write-ups going on. And of course, if they go live in the event of a warning where we go wall-to-wall coverage, you can watch it right there on the First Alert weather app. So really just a great tool there. We like to encourage folks to have on their device if they need it, along with your NOAA radio, all that good stuff you need for preparation. But as far as, your Thursday goes, like we talked about here, we are on alert. Starts at about 11 o'clock, runs until about 3. That's the first wave. Second wave is a little more in the evening. So we'll have all that throughout the day here, of course, in the event of an alert and a warning, if you will. Tornado specifically will be on the air immediately. We've got 14 News 11 on streaming. We'll, of course, cut in for that in that case. So we'll keep you updated here right on 14 News and once again as well on the First Alert app.
that's right. Well, we appreciate you guys joining us for our stream here today, just keeping you guys up to date in real time. Stay tuned. We'll have much more coverage throughout the day with this alert day on the horizon. But for now, we will let you guys go. Enjoy the rest of your day.